Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second official episode of YouTube Whips. Today's guest is Mr. Jack Morris.
Yes, sir.
I said that right?
Yep.
Mr. Jack Morris, super popular gamer, super popular automotive enthusiast. Today we're gonna show you his collection and kind of tell the story of how he went from owning cars in a video game to owning them in real life. First of all, thanks for having us at the house.
Yeah, for sure.
Something that, I don't know, I've been requested to film with you a bunch and you got a cool collection. We're always looking for creators with cool collections. And now, I don't know a ton about Jack. I don't know a ton about what you do, kind of on purpose. A lot of people recommended you have a lot of friends that watch you, and I kind of wanted to learn about you today while everyone else learns about you. So we're just gonna walk through your cars. I think we should end out on the R8 since this is kind of your exotic, and you come from the JDM space more so traditionally, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with the R32. Talk us through it. What year? What is it? What's the story behind it?
This is my 1991 R32 Skyline GTR, and this is now the oldest car, just even by year and by when I got it in the fleet, because I sold my first car. It was Focus RS. Is rest in peace.
Recently, huh?
Yeah, recently, like just a week ago or so. So you guys just missed the cut. So yeah, this is definitely like, I would say, my halo car out of like most people know me for. There's a big video that blew up. I took it to my very last day of high school.
Okay.
And it was all stanced out and stuff like that. And I've just been through a lot with this car. I'll even pop the hood. I've been through a whole motor with this car.
Okay.
And once you go through something like that, it's like, then you're like now committed. It just becomes your baby.
And you're attached to it now.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And you're 21, yeah?
Yes.
When did you graduate?
I agree. 2019.
So you've had this car for what, 3 years now? Something like that?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years. I got it in like May of 2018.
Okay.
So yeah.
The infamous RB26?
Yes, sir. So when the motor blew and we had to look at other options, we wanted to at least try and go for something that was, you know, guarantees us less problems than what we had before.
Of course.
So what we have here is an RB26 from an R34 GTR, so one of the latest generations. Fixed a couple things, oil pumps is just stronger, ground up, and it only had like 16,000 miles on the motor when we put it in. So yeah, it's a pretty, and I mean, shout out to Mark, he's the one I bought it from, and like, he gave me one hell of a deal. If this ever blows again, I would be done for, because now the prices of these have just gone so insanely high.
That's true. The engine itself
The engine itself probably costs more than what I paid for this entire car way back in 2018.
Hey, if something happens to the car, we'll take the engine and we'll buy an R34 chassis.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Then you throw it in the chassis and then you got an R34.
Yeah, exactly.
How many miles on the car when the engine blew?
On the car, it's got around like 80 or 90K. It's closing in on like 100K miles now. Everything's all read out in kilometers though.
Cool.
So you got kind of like...
Oh, this right-hand drive too.
Yeah, fully all imported. Oof. So it's like the speedometer, everything's all in kilometers. You gotta do your math and all that stuff when driving.
And what have you done to the engine? Did you build it after you bought the stock block?
No, this is actually a pretty stock setup.
Okay.
And a lot of people will always say like, why don't I build it up and stuff more? But I don't know, it's just like, if I ever get a chance to take you for a rip or whatever in it, it's just like, you'll feel it doesn't need that crazy much more power to at least be fun for me.
It's just that nice OEM
and
plus.
It's just like, doing anything more compromises all this reliability that
100%.
we strive for with this.
And now you're scarred.
Exactly.
I am scarred.
I am scarred. So it's just like, you know, if I do have the car forever, there can always be plenty of time for more power. But for now, I enjoy it how it is. And probably my favorite thing on it is that it's got this titanium equal link downpipe that this thing screams.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that RB26. And what wheels are you running on this?
So these are Advan R6s. They're not that common around here. And yeah, I used to have this full Advan style livery that was all race car based and oriented that went around the entire car. And then I thought, you know, we had it on for like 2 years. We might as well take it off soon, kind of switch it up.
And you've got livery on the, is that a 240 on the left?
Yeah, we got a livery on there. But unfortunately, it started taking off some paint.
No!
So, left the vinyl on for too long, and the paint is just probably not that good to begin with.
Okay, are you gonna repaint it ever?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna try and drop it off as soon as tomorrow or so. So,
Is the color a secret?
I'm gonna try and keep it the same.
I feel like oh, you're gonna keep the same color?
I might just keep it the same, yeah. Just because it's easiest, and this has always been the dream color.
No midnight purple? Midnight purple
I just did these bad boys in here.
Oh, that looks
I think
sweet.
the color complements it. I don't think midnight purple would probably flow with those guys as much, but I don't know. Midnight purple's cool.
Is this, would you say this is your favorite car that you own? Or maybe the most special to you?
I think it's the most special to me, and it's got the most mental heart connection.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, you know, I probably look forward to maybe taking that car out a little more because you know, like, you don't have to worry about a dime of anything, and you know it's going to treat you. It's going to be the fastest. It's going to be. But this car, it's like I'm probably going to hold on to this forever. But that one, you know, may get replaced.
And there's a clean car, I assume.
Yeah, we didn't do any like damage rebuild or anything on it. We just bought it from an import dealership, and yeah.
Well, dope. Let's move on to the 240. Oh my God, hold up. I'm a JDM noob, I want to say. Like I have my picks of JDM, but you'll see. We're gonna move over here. Let's start with the 240. See, I just don't even think, like, that could be a 240, but I don't think it is. So
you would be right.
Oh, see, I'm half good.
I'm still very like grassroots and ground up, and I kind of value that because I sometimes like feel that when YouTubers like expand to giant warehouses and stuff, it kind of takes away some of that home aspect feel.
I agree.
And then all the comments are just like, oh, I miss when they were like this or like that. So we're staying home style right now. This is my cotton candy machine.
JDM, very JDM.
This is my drift car.
Yeah.
And, you know, who knows, it'll probably look like a more missile at some point. You guys happen to capture it while it's all clean and still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
It has an S15 SR20 under the hood, which is also not crazy built up. Makes around 275 wheel, which is, for this kind of style of car, more than enough power.
These don't weigh anything, do they?
They don't.
Yeah.
They're super light. So everyone's like, you know, on the internet, you're used to 600 horsepower or like 1,000 horsepower drift builds, but it's just like, you don't understand how much tires and cost of everything else building that, and it's like, this is all you need.
And with the handbrake and almost 300 wheel, you should be fine. You drift a lot?
Yeah, well, we were just drifting yesterday. Got something else planned for next weekend. I'm really trying to get out there as much as I can. Also, I noticed you got your little tracked out interior. You got back seats in this thing. It's got still like a whole full interior and everything. I'll probably do a cage at some point soon, but I really wanted to have this be a car that I could just literally just go drive to a car meet. Yeah. And just kind of like do everything with it, and not just be completely trailer hauled everywhere. So it's still got mainly all an interior. What's the point of trailering these to the track? Because when you're out there, drifting is like beating on a car. You're consistently like thrashing it all up like the highest RPMs, and it can't even breathe because it's like almost going sideways, so it can, like, you know, you can overheat things, and then you're just rubbing through all the other suspension components. There's a high chance that something will break when you go out there. So the thought, like, we go out to tracks that are like 2.5 hours away from here, and the thought that you have to make it home after you do all that shredding is like, it just makes you wanna, like, it makes you way more hesitant out on track. When you trailer it, you can kind of go all day. I mean, it's kind of like the pattern it goes is you just go out there, shred, break something, trailer it home, fix it the week following, go out there, do it again. That's kind of like how it all goes. And is this a drift car as well, or this is just your 240? This is more of a street car. It can drift. I mean, it'll have the angle for it. So this is a Sylvia, which means that this car was originally sold in the US because it's left-hand drive. And we just put a Japanese motor in it. This car was all from Japan. Once again, right-hand drive. Same SR20 with turbo underneath the hood. So I like to have kind of a different purpose for all of the cars. This is the drift track car. Of course. This is definitely the stance car. So this car is more daily usable. What's going on over here, dude? Is this just dirty, or we got some paint coming off, dude? We got some paint. It's not perfect, all right? It doesn't need to be perfect. It's not perfect. I mean, there's some other stuff going on here and there. I think the imperfections are what make it a perfect JDM little street car. It fits the stereotype. And I would say no, this is actually not dailyable, because this car is so low to the ground that I have to literally like calculate where I'm going and what the entry points will look like before I get there. Otherwise, it will literally beach itself. It could beach itself right there. You're not running air suspension? How come you're fixed? Because, I mean, I'm just gonna say it up front, I think S chassis on air suspension is just not right. They're just very functional cars, and air suspension to me, I've actually been through air suspension with the previous car before, and it's all completely great for show. It is like perfect for show, but when you want a car with a little more functionality and stuff, there's something mentally about it where it just seems a little more strong, well put together.
True.
When it's just riding.
I feel like air
proper
suspension feels like artificial almost.
Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't feel like it came from factory, it just feels like a little toy, like a gimmick.
Yeah, and most people, like, you know, I grew up enjoying stance cars. A lot of people hate on it, but you know, there are a lot of people that like it and stuff too. And you know, the real stance guys would argue that this thing would be like cheating if it's like on air ride, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. I thought you were gonna say the
lifestyle.
Other way. Yeah.
It's the lifestyle that you're static and you're this low, but you still try and whip it around and try and, you know, go along with this car. That is what people will respect.
If your garage floor hasn't been scraped, are you really stance?
I know,
what I mean?
I know, right?
We're gonna save the R8 for last because I think a lot of people out here are probably like me and are like, bro, what is all this JDM shit? I wanna see supercars because that's what kids like.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make you wait for that. He's also got a Raptor. We're gonna do the Raptor because I like Raptors. And I feel like we deserve to do the Raptor.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll get into the R8 last. Now, for those who know me, they know I'm not a truck guy, but those who also know me even better know that I love performance trucks. Okay, I like the idea of driving a truck. I just don't see trucks and get excited. But that discludes the Raptors and the TRXs and any stupid 6x6 truck. Jack has a Raptor. Did you buy this car to tow or to daily more primarily?
Both.
Okay.
Literally, I knew it was gonna serve the function as a daily, and I needed a tow rig, and I wanted something fun. I didn't want, like, you know, a diesel would have done, like, a Power Stroke would have done the job responsibly, but like, come on, you know.
100%.
I like to say this is my adult purchase that is still not an adult purchase, you know what I mean?
If you're gonna buy a truck and you're a car guy, you have to buy like a performance truck.
Yeah.
You have to.
This is the latest pickup, actually. We got this just like at the beginning of this year. I'm completely new to the whole like off-road sphere of everything like that.
Do you want off-road too?
I want to. I haven't even gotten this thing off-road yet. I've been hauling it more, so I've been getting that use out of it, but I haven't even taken it up into the mountains and stuff yet, so.
It's not modded stock?
Yeah, it's all stock, and I think I'm gonna keep it pretty stock. The reason why I used to never want one of these is there's someone in my neighborhood who had one completely straight pipe. I don't think it sounds good at all, completely straight pipe, because he's got V6s, twin turbos, and they just sound, they just brap and...
Sounds like a Mustang.
Yeah, like a V6 Mustang, definitely. So it's like, it doesn't really need to be loud. It's just kind of, you know, the daily, the hauler, but the fun hauler. We've nicknamed it Bigfoot because the color code is called Leadfoot Gray, and it's like a Nardo gray, like what the Audis were. And I mean, I've seen a good amount of them in this color, but I definitely I was like, I had to get this one. When I
feel like every car guy loves the Nardo gray too. Just
the
classic. So
yeah. Well, it's a new upcoming thing, these flat colors, and I love it. So I was like, you know, we're gonna go all the way to Houston just for this one because
you bought it used, I assume.
Yeah, it was used. It had like 60K or something miles on it, but you know, I figured like I don't need to ball out like crazy on this because it's a F-150. I think it'll be reliable. It'll go a long 100%. Ways.
It's just an EcoBoost, so.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I think it's time. All you guys that are waiting for exotics, we're gonna go look at the R8. Settle down. Correct. 2017 Audi R8. First of all, I need to step in here. FI exhaust. I always put the plugs on FI. I don't know how FI keeps getting plugs in all these videos. My favorite system, BBS FIRs. What have you done to this car? And you're also 21 years old.
Yeah.
So everything here is impressive as a whole, but you do own an exotic, a supercar, an R8. So there's a lot for you to tell us about this car.
This car is coming up on like a year of ownership, and I still it doesn't feel like I actually own this car on this caliber. I mean, I'll start out with the backstory. I used to have a 2011 R8, and we did a whole SEMA build on it. It was red. It was a V10.
Okay.
But we put it on air ride. We put a ski box on it, just like that, and we had it all at the show and everything. But then the R-Tronic, the transmission, and certain older things about it that were kind of dated, I was like, I want to refresh and, you know, start new with a newer refresh platform, and that's what we have here.
New gen is obviously a completely different car. Like you said, the R-Tronic sucks.
Yeah, the people, they just don't understand. A lot of people were just like, why'd you buy the same car over again and stuff, but it's a whole inside and out, the feel, everything. So this is a Suzuka Gray. It's slightly off-white. Yeah. It's got a VF Engineering tune on it. That's kind of like the max you could do
without a supercharger.
Without adding aspiration stuff on top of that. It's got H&R lowering springs. It's got the Vorsteiner full kit lip diffuser wing all around. That hurt. that's
I mean, like the BBS FIRs hurt too.
Yeah, the BBS FIRs hurt as well. Those two things are very expensive cosmetic additions onto this car. And then subtle things, we blacked out this piece right here, and all the new 2020s have that already blacked out, but the 2017s don't. Okay. And that like is a really subtle but a really aggressive
Jordan needs to go take a look. I can't really see it from here. Oh yeah, that actually is way different.
Yeah, I wish there was like another 2017 right side by side.
Primarily?
The paint?
No, what is that normal?
Oh, yeah, it's silver.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a whole box thing, whereas now it just has the like 2020 LED slit. Oh, and then I did the whole livery thing myself right before we took it down to Monterey Car Week the past year.
Yeah.
Spliced that all up together.
Just a little bit of promo, a little bit of Jack Ultramotive promo.
I like to give all my cars personalization because, like, one, you know, that's how, you know, you could be memorable and kind of like get noticed and stuff. But then it's also it's just fun. That's exactly like what you do in Forza. I would always just add on a little livery flair or something here and there because it's just like sometimes it's just boring to just have simple colors
100%.
and stuff every now.
First of all, before we get into Forza, because I want to talk about Forza because that is like where you came from. That is your story.
Yeah.
And I also have a little something from that. Do you plan on doing any sort of twin turbo supercharger on this car?
Depends on how long I keep this car. If I keep it for long enough, I think I am definitely like tempted. Their Sheepy kit, like even their stage 1 is that's a tempting bargain.
Perfect.
And even VF, like VF has been in my ear all this time, like trying to get me to do one of their supercharger kits. So either or is up in the air because I would always say this: for the price of literally a stock new Huracan, you could have a 2nd gen R8 and twin turbo it, and I just think that's like a lot more worth its money right there.
That's actually a really good argument for the Huracan R8 argument.
You could have a faster car. They're, you know, they sound the same. They're very similar.
Yeah.
So.
All right, now Jack comes from Forza. So your main channel used to be Jack Ultra Gamer.
Yeah, so my main channel, I mean, I was doing all sorts of gaming videos, then I got into Forza. I've always been in the cars all growing up, and what we did, we started making these really fun, I mean, I also got to give all credits to my friends. We started doing really fun things like recreating Fast and Furious scenes, Cars scenes.
This is before YouTube or for YouTube?
This is for YouTube and stuff, and we would just be playing like hide and seek in cars, doing all these like little fun challenges. Those really blew up, and that's what really started my whole YouTube career. And we were doing that for about like 3 years or so when I started like, you know what, I want to try and take what I've earned and the resources I have and get more into like actual automotive content and stuff. So then I kind of steered it more into a vlogging channel. But I was also like, okay, let's not ditch the gaming entirely. So we started a separate gaming channel, brought the gaming stuff back. That is Jack Ultra Gamer, which we brought that name back as well. And that's kind of where we're all at with everything.
So Forza, I've told this story a couple times. Forza is the reason I got into cars. So me and my brother were young, we played the original Forza. For you, were you into cars before you started playing Forza, or was it kind of the same for you?
I want to say I've just always been into cars ever since, like, I have like a vision of like just seeing this like crazy Lamborghini when I was probably like 5 or 6 years old, parked outside the restaurant. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And then of course I got introduced into Forza when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, pretty young too, on Motorsport 2. So that definitely helped, and just continuing on with racing games definitely helped. But I think I was kind of already in the cars just slightly before. And there's no crazy like moment. It just kind of was always a thing. I mean, even other vehicles, aviation, all sorts of things like, you know, mechanical, they're all really cool to me. And cars is definitely the one thing because there's just so much personality. It defines the person of who you are, and they're all so different. I just find it so cool.
Do you work on your cars for the most part yourself? Or?
I try to do what I can, but I honestly don't enjoy it. I consider myself more of a content creator, kind of like my work is more behind the computer. I edit
more of
and
a
film.
Creative kind
Yeah, I film and edit everything myself, and as well as like designing stuff like the liveries or stuff for cars. When it comes to literally getting underneath one, working hard with a freaking wrench, like, you know, I'll do it if I can, but it's not something that I really enjoy. Like this car, mainly all shop built, but then the 240, like I'll do all my oil changes and we'll do install videos and stuff like that.
Now before we exit out, first of all, again, massive thank you. You guys can check him out on all of his channels. I'll have the link down below, his IG, whatever. Go show this kid some love. Videos are really cool. I only have cool people on the channel, just know that. If they're on here, they're cool. We did a video recently on, I think, my automotive channel, my buddy James's R8 from South OC Cars and Coffee, and he was running a Capristo exhaust. This is running an FI exhaust. Just listen to this thing. Oh, the burbles are so loud and snappy. Guys, I think we need a V10 on the channel. You need to start subscribing. There's just nothing like naturally aspirated power delivery. Jack, thank you so much for the insight. Thanks for showing us your garage, and till next time.